Thank you very much, Andres. We will continue here in the break with the first interview in the JavaLand studio. And we have our first guest.
Welcome, Patrick. Patrick is, he can tell where he is from. He's very active in the community, and that is a reason why he is here. And that is a reason why Andres is staying here, because he's very active too. And we have another guest, Markus. Come in and join us here, Markus Schlichting. So let's start first with Patrick, because Patrick had a talk at 12 o'clock, so in the next slot, in the Congress Hotel about intelligent applications for Spring AI. It's in German. Okay, Patrick, please tell us about your community activities. What are you doing?
So I'm part of the Swiss Java user group, where we have basically 5 locations running events in Basel, Lucerne, Bern, Zurich and St. Gallen. And we had like last year about 65 events throughout Switzerland, which is actually like very impressive. I'm also like the organizer of the Socrates Switzerland, a 3-day edition, like you probably know here from Germany as well. And we have been running last week Vox Day Zurich, which is also a developer conference. So as you can see, it's actually quite a lot.
And how did you get in all this? How did this happen?
I mean, that's actually like a very interesting story, I would say. Or, I mean, probably like, yeah, you just get started somehow. But as a junior developer, I had some internal talks, and sometimes the company I was working for was inviting like customers and said, you can talk about Spring, you know that so well. And then actually like later, I start to apply for talks at conferences. So like my first biggest talk was actually at the Java Forum Stuttgart in this very big room, like where about like 300 or 400 participants can be. And I was kind of shocked. And you're always happy that there is a lot of light and you can barely see the participants. And then actually like that's like an adrenaline kick. You get like addicted to that.
Pretty cool. And let's go to the next one.
Yeah, let's hand the micro over to Markus. Nice to have you here.
Hello.
Where are you from and what's your part in the community? Can you talk a bit about it?
Actually, I'm from Karakun. We are based in Basel and having offices in Stuttgart and Dortmund and in Mumbai as well. And we are running hacker gardens in Basel as well as in Dortmund. And that hacker garden, the idea is to contribute back to the open source community and having fun coding together on an evening and finishing a task doing that evening, so you don't take home another item on your bucket list. And yeah, we have been running hacker gardens for quite some time now. And I'm really happy to see that also Markus is running a hacker garden in Lucerne. And so the idea of the hacker garden spread around a bit. And so we have a format where we can contribute back to the community.
Yeah. Yeah, we will talk about Hacker Garden in a few minutes a bit more, but I always see you a lot of times at conferences. You are also a quite frequent speaker. Can you tell us a bit, why are you speaking at conferences, public speaking? Why is it also a part of the community?
Yeah, it's really fun to speak at conferences because it's the best way to engage with the community, and sharing is caring, and sharing knowledge is also establishing and getting knowledge. So the exchange is really what makes me crazy, and I really like a lot going on conferences. Yeah. And also then learning about new projects and sharing what my experiences was with different technologies. So I, for example, like to speak about documentation in ASCII-Doc because that's really something, also sharing the knowledge we gathered in the project. So we need to document to give others a chance to get into projects. So that's what drives me.
Yeah. And at Karagun, I saw you also are contributing to the community. You have some open source projects you are involved. Maybe you can also tell us a bit about, I think it was Open Web Beans, for example, but maybe some more.
Yeah, others might not be that well known. Open Web Start is probably the most visible one. We started that as Java Web Start was discontinued by Oracle, and we wanted to establish a solution that can be used as a replacement. And IST Web was back in the days not in the right shape for that, but we used it as a foundation to create Open Web Start. And so we are running Open Web Start open source project now, and we are happy that we found some sponsors that can help us to continue that engagement and help people to further benefit from their Java desktop applications and plan for a valid path of migration and not be forced to migrate now in a big bang.
Okay, thank you.
Andres, you just had a talk. This was obviously not your first one. You started very long ago. How did you got into this? What was your first contact with the idea of speaking at a conference?
I don't know this.
I
can use this mic. Yeah, my first speaking experience was back in 2006 when I was still living in Mexico City. And that was quite a nerve-wracking experience. I had to memorize every single word that I wanted to do, had to memorize every single slide. I was a co-speaker with someone else, and that gave me, well, I was quite nervous trying to do this. And it made me wonder, do I really want to do this? So the next opportunity that I had to do a session on my own, I think that was like a year after. I still did a lot of research and rehearsal, but because I was alone, I was able to do it in a more relaxed way. Nowadays, what I think that is more important when I do a presentation is the presentations are never about the speaker itself. The presentations are about the audience, the knowledge that you are able to share with the audience. To me, the most important aspect is to come up with a story, a connecting thread that will allow the audience to go from one concept to the next until they can, once the presentation is finished, they can see, oh, there's a relationship to goes from this location to this, to this, to this, to that, and those are the learnings I'm going to take home.
And you are continuing this idea with all the Hackergarten events. You're organizing yourself in Basel a few times, no, for a very, very long period of time. And all the other Hackergardens who said, okay, I met you in Basel, I met you at the JavaLand, I want to run this. And how did you got from having a talk to running Hackergardens? How did this start?
So when we started the idea back in Basel, when the previous company before Karakun was known as Canoe, we had this idea of why can we just contribute to an open source project? Because we're using a particular dependency at work, and we found there is an issue with it. We can certainly spend time during work time to fix it, and it will be just in our close view, perhaps, because that's the only thing that we're looking at. But if we are able to connect with other people that may have found similar issues, and these people work at different companies, they have different perspectives, then perhaps we can have a holistic way to solve the problem. So that's why we came up with this idea. Why don't we open up a space and provide a time for other people to join in and try to fix an issue on an open source project, such that by the end of the session, the end of the working time, we push that contribution back to the open source project so that they can benefit. It's not enough to say my company, my project will benefit from adding this fix and I will keep it in my own source. It will be better that if this is open source, that I can contribute it back to the original location so that others can continue getting the benefits as just we did by getting their contributions.
Maybe if I might jump in, it's not only that, it's also if you contribute back to the main repository, it becomes part of the project, and you don't need to maintain your patch with the main repository. It becomes part of the bigger whole thing, and that's a big benefit for everyone.
Exactly. It's not just not for your own benefit, it's for the benefit that everybody that can get access to that particular piece of source.
You said a very interesting word, you said connecting. And that is exactly my next question, maybe it's to both of you. How do you connect the people together to run these things like Hackergarten and other events?
But talking about Hacker Gardens and events like this one, like JavaLand, as a matter of fact, we have a Hacker Garden running at the exhibition space this year, and Hacker Garden has been as part of a community event. Hacker Garden has been one of these community events that has been running for quite some time at JavaLand, since I believe JavaLand number 2 or something. So this is now well known for many of the attendees of this conference. But we have run it also at other locations, at other conferences, where we can definitely tell the audience, hey, you can join us. Here is a set of projects that we are currently working on. But if you have an idea, you're more than welcome to pitch the idea, and we can work on it as long as you want, because obviously being a community event run at the same time as the sessions, where sometimes you will see, oh, in an hour I will have to go to Ed Burns and see his own session, because how often do we get to see Ed Burns on this side of the Atlantic, right? So I'll go with him, see his session, and then come back and continue working on the Hacker Garden. So it's stuff that can happen.
And of course, we advertise it via those things on the internet. So nowadays it would be Mastodon. Back in the days it was Twitter, and LinkedIn probably is a channel. And we just to reach out, we announce the events. We use Meetup to organize it. Meetup might become too expensive. We'll see how that sorts out, and we need other platforms. But I think we will find a way to organize and to get known where are Hacker Garden events happening when. And for Hacker Garden itself, we established this umbrella website, hackergarden.net, where you can see in which cities are Hacker Gardens and when do they happen. And actually, this website is mostly maintained during Hacker Garden, so that's kind of recursive and also really fun. Yeah, it really helps, though, to get connected to open source maintainers and get them to the Hacker Gardens, because having someone around who's really into a topic and really into a project is really helpful to introduce others and to help introduce others to do their first merge request on a project.
Correct.
Thank you. That's very amazing what can happen if you're interested in a topic and you meet the right people, I would say, but there are nothing else than right people. There are no wrong people. It's always the right people at the right time at the Hacker Gardens, and what happens is always amazing. And I met Andres the first time at the Hacker Garden Basel. I still remember it, very amazing event.
I also want to add that if you are not in Dortmund, Basel, Luzern, and you don't want to go there to go to the Hacker Garden, or JavaLand, of course, there is, but only today and tomorrow. There's also an online Hacker Garden, and we call it open source code camp. It's at JavaLand. JavaLand is the online initiative of JavaLand and German Java user groups. So maybe you can also have a look at that, and we see us online. It's quite easy to join us.
There is another Hacker Garden in Germany, in Stuttgart, as well. So that's another option for all of you that are watching from Germany. There's another Hacker Garden in Zurich, and there is another event called Hack Commit Push that we have run in person. This is a one-day event from 9 to 5. We have run it twice in Paris. Last year we ran it in Rotkreuz, close to Lucerne in Switzerland. And there may be options to run it again, either in Switzerland or in Paris this year.
Yeah, we have not yet announced the date. I don't have it in my mind. It's a Saturday before the first Advent. It will happen a second time. We are just fixing all the contracts for it.
And actually, it was the first time when I met you, Markus. It was in Stuttgart. At Java Forum Stuttgart, there was also a Hacker Garden you organized there. 10 years ago, or maybe that, or maybe also, Yeah, thank you very much that you have been here and talked a bit about your contribution, and maybe encouraged our people who are watching on the stream to also contribute, and maybe we see us online or in one of the many cities where Hacker Gardens are organized, or other events of the community just contribute. It would be very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.